Welcome to the True Demon Lord show. I am the True Demon Lord Franco, and today we're going to be looking at the recent balanced data slate. More specifically, we're just going to quickly touch up on the changes that Demons got. We're not going to spend too long on this because there's not really a lot to go into. We'll just look at the changes briefly, and then just have a quick chat about how I think we're going to get on going forward. So, obviously, the data slate, we've been waiting for this a while. I did my predictions video where I said I thought we would end up having the Great Unclean, more specifically, the Endless Gift would go up and blood pressure would go up. They were logical, I think, thoughts to have. And obviously, I don't know why I have to preface this, but of course, they are not changes I wanted. Trust me, there is no one in this world that wants nerfs less, like to demons, less than me, right? Trust me, no one, there is no one else. But unfortunately, oh, not fortunately, fortunately, none of those changes happened. We did get one unit go up, which is fine. I guess. I mean, I think didn't expect it, but not surprised by it. Thinking about it, and then we got a couple units go down. I think they missed the ball completely on what we needed, and I'm going to give my full thoughts after we've briefly touched on the units that we got, or the units that got changed. So, looking at the first one, we've got the Rendmaster who went up 15 points. So, was 150 and is now 165. I mean, Rendmasters were making a lot of lists. I've seen people recently say, oh, they weren't that great anyway, which dumbfounds me. I always, as you know, for people that keep up with the channel, you will know that I never push my opinions on you. I just give my opinions as a very long time, very veteran, very experienced demon player, someone who plays a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot of competitive games with demons and only plays the faction. I use that experience to help, but never to push my opinion on you. But this is the one time I'm a bit like, what? Remasters are amazing. So they make units like, for example, Bloodletters. I cannot stand Bloodletters. I do not like them. I've not liked them for quite a long time. They never fulfill the role I believe they should. People disagree with me on that. Some people love them, which is fine. Fair enough. We all have our units we like and dislike. Just because someone might dislike a unit doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean you shouldn't use it. But Rendmasters make them at least half decent. Rendmasters and Bloodmasters actually make Bloodletters to me actually worth it and make me want to kind of take them. Though again, that's a lot of eggs in one basket. But these guys were buffing up Blood Crushers, Bloodthirsters, Flesh Hounds. They were making Flesh Hounds into basically pseudo fiends. So yeah, they're amazing. At 165, they're still really good. The corn list is not dead. You just have to readjust it. Do you take 3 of them? Probably not. Do you take 2? I still think 2 is very viable, or you can just stick with 1. It will take a little bit of list reshifting, but I don't think this makes a massive impact. It's just makes you think a little bit more about shifting your points about, but I don't think this makes huge impact. I still think you're taking them in your corn lists, or corn heavy lists. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really I haven't been running the Rendmaster because I'm not a big corn fan. Again, if you keep up with the channel, you will know that. I don't like running that much corn. Because I just am not a fan of most of the corn stuff, but the Rendmasters I do like. I haven't really been running them because, again, I don't run the lists to benefit from them, but they're still fantastic. You're still taking them. Then we've got the Beast of Nurgle. So the Beast of Nurgle went down 5 points per single, or 10 points for a unit of 2. So they are now 65 points individually, or 135 points for a unit of, 130 points for a unit of 2, sorry. So I think this is a bit of a stealth good change. It came out of nowhere. Like, don't get me wrong, I think they definitely could have used the points down. But at the same time, it wasn't really a unit I was thinking of because there was just more important units. So I think this is quite nice because Beasts as a drop down unit were already half decent. For 65 points, I just think that's quite nice because the amount of times I build a list and I would have 65 points spare, and I'm like, okay, I could take a Seeker Chariot, and I like the Seeker Chariots, but now a single beast for 65 points, I definitely think I'm looking at that, to be honest, because they're great to drop down in gaps behind your opponent, with Denizens of the Warp for a 3-inch deep strike if you need to. They're giving you, they can give you behind enemy lines, engage in all fronts, established teleport homers, even cleanse in some instances. or they're actually fantastic for things like sabotage or recover assets as well, because they're T9, they're 7 wounds, they've got a 5-up in one. At the end of the phase, if your opponent hasn't killed the beast and it's taken wounds, it's just straight back to the 7 wounds again. So you can't chip it down. You've got to kill it or don't touch it. And obviously, if you're putting these in areas where your opponent can get a lot of units or a lot of key units on to be able to target it, then it's going to die. But if you can put it in a spot where your opponent's going to struggle to get to it, and it's either going to force them to overcommit to kill it, meaning some of your other force will not get touched. I mean, that's already worth the 65 points, even if you're losing on secondary points and it's keeping more important stuff alive, fine. But also, if you're like, your opponent can't just pull one unit back to shoot it or even to kill it in combat, because they really have to dedicate to it. So I think 65 points, I think you'll definitely see a couple beasts or like a few lists pop in a single beast here and there. Definitely something I'm going to start looking at a little bit more. Whether it comes straight into my list or not, I don't know. But I do like it. I think it's a cool little stealth change that kind of came out of nowhere, but is not... I'm not going to argue it. I think it's a nice little change. And then the final change we got was Shalaxi finally went down. So she was 450. She's now 425. She's still pricey, but Shalaxi is amazing. She's really, really good. There's not many things. There's nothing in our index that does the consistent damage that she does. The rerolls against character units, monsters, vehicles, which is all the important stuff that she wants to be killing anyway, is just really good. She's got good high amount of strength and damage and precision in build. Her shooting is capable of just popping off and destroying light vehicles and really hammering into units. She's really fast, and she's got shadow bubble for Slaneshi stuff, things like more keepers or fiends, etc., etc. So she is fantastic, and I've had people had a go at me for doing the whole comparison thing, but a loose comparison, looking at things like Angron or Magnus, who are basically the big centerpiece damage dealers for World Eaters, for Thousand Suns, etc., etc. Them going to 435 for Angron and 460 or 465 for Magnus, while she goes down to 425, I think is great, because I do like to compare her to them, because she's, I think, big damage dealer. She's super expensive, but she's super killing. She'll kill whatever you put in front of her. She is tough. She's quite tough as well. Some people say she dies to nothing. Maybe it's just my Shalaxi, but my Shalaxi just refuses to die a lot of the times. It's very, very, very rare when I'll look at her and go, yeah, she died too easy and just didn't do anything. It's very rare. So, yeah, I love Shalaxi. I probably will maybe start putting her back into the list again, because I dropped her going into Pariah because the points just hurt a bit. Don't get me wrong, she's not gone down mass amounts, like 25 points. You know, it's not a huge amount, but it's still not bad. I just want to put her back in, to be honest. I miss having her. I miss having just some almost auto guaranteed damage going through, because generally she's going to touch something, it's going to die. It is as simple as that. Or she's going to do enough damage to it that it's going to make it incredibly damaged and a bit limping. But yeah, I think that's a great change. Now, sadly, something that I think the ball was just completely missed on was the battle line. Now, again, I've had people disagree with me on this, and that's cool. Like, I'm all for debates and stuff. But Daemons, in my opinion, are one of the worst units in our index. They are far too expensive. But I'm having people tell me they don't understand me saying that. They think Daemons are like one of our best units. And I'm like, I don't know where you're getting off. The 100 points for 10D, E3, 1 wound, 5 up in 1 gales, 3 attacks at strength 4, -1 damage devs, and they move 9, they're OC2. Like, don't get me wrong, they're decent, but for 100 points? I don't think so. Like, I want them down to, well, Subductors, which is something I compared them to, which again, I hit people had to go at me for, but that's fine. 3 up armor, 4 up in 1, their combat's nowhere near the same level, but it's not too bad. They've gone up to 100 points. So, I think Demon could definitely go down to 80 to 90 points now and feel better. Bloodletters, in my opinion, are far too expensive. They need to be like 100. The fact that Blue Horrors have stayed at 125 since the edition came out is absolutely insane. I don't understand their just inability to touch the horrors. I don't get it. Pink Horrors could even use a little bit of a drop. I just don't understand it. Like, it's just baffling to me. Absolutely baffling. Like, they refuse to touch or attempt to fix some kind of balance issue, because we have terrible internal balance. It is as simple as that. We have a terrible internal balance. While Pawn, yes, does damage, and as it should, um, the monsters you need for damage. Otherwise, yeah, just a lot of units feel, while they can do jobs pretty well, Screamers are very good for scoring, as are Fleshhounds, as are Beasts, as are Flamers. Do they really do that much? And the thing is, I'm not moaning because, I mean, I guess I am moaning, but trust me, I love this faction. And I guess I'm moaning so much because, unlike a lot of people, and I guess this is something I harp on about, but it is just a fact, there is no, oh, I'll play something else and then come back to it. I am locked in. So I care about this faction a lot, not just from my own standpoint, but because of the fact that I just care about this faction. I feel like I represent the faction a lot competitively as one of the few people that runs it solely. And so for me, it's all about the faction health overall. Now, the problem is, and this is something I try to avoid talking about too much, because of being just a rumor, but I'm just going to go into it because it is my feelings, is the uncertainty of the codex. So, of course, if you haven't heard the rumors, Demons are massively rumored to not be getting their own codex this edition. Instead, they're basically going to be split up each 4 gods. So Thorn Demons, and they're going to be put into the World Eater Codex, Zinch Demons in the Thousand Sun Codex, etc., etc. Now, this is the thing is, I get people telling me, that's not going to happen. They don't know. You don't know. Like, why would they do that? What about Be'lakor, etc., etc. Thing is, none of us truly know. We can only go off hunches. We can only go off logic. And something that I guess I harp on about as well. But I've been playing the factions since the inception of the faction back at the end of 4th, right? 17 years, all solid. 95% of that was solely Demons, apart from my little 8th/9th edition play about with some souping stuff. And so every edition, these rumors have popped up, right? The amount of times I've heard demons are getting squatted, demons are just being split up into allies, etc., etc. It comes up almost every edition. I remember hearing it in 5th edition when I was about 12, 13, so I didn't know any better. When I heard it, I was like, oh no, please don't get rid of my demons. While people more in the know were like, they're not doing that. Just don't, it's a rumor, ignore it. I remember it in 6th edition, 7th edition, 8th edition, even a little bit in 9th. And every time I'm like, no, it's just not going to happen. And it didn't happen. Now I hear these rumors in 10th. I don't know what it is, but this is the first time, as like someone who actually kind of knows what's going on, I kind of believe it. And the more we get closer to next year, the more I believe it. I don't know. I just feel a bit scorned by these kind of updates, because it's just like the refusal. Yes, we've had a lot of buffs. The last couple of data slates, or the last data slate, was incredibly kind to us. The one before didn't do anything for us, and the one before that helped massively. So I'm not saying they've not fixed anything, but the faction itself is in a bit of a poor spot as far as the internal balance and the future goes. Now, people who are more, I guess, the people that look at it more from the win rate and from being able to run something they want to run, they don't see it like that, and they tell me whatever it is that you're kind of fear mongering or whatever, or like you don't get it. The win rate's this, the win rate's that. The problem is, yes, we have a decent win rate right now. We're in the middle of the pack, and the thing is, you never want to be broken as a faction. The last thing I ever want is for demons to be broken or overpowered, because that attracts, I like to call them, certain parasite players that like to play what's good. And then those players they play it at a good standard because they're good players. GW come along, they smash it on the head with the Nerf hammer, those players jump to something else, and those of us that actually play the faction solely or mostly are sat here with the pieces like, sweet, now what do we do? You never want to be like that, because it creates uncertainties. You get nerfs, it changes you completely. You don't want that. You want to be in the middle. You want to have a good amount of balance, good amount of good amount of bad, right? Not every unit, like, that's just the way it is. You'll never have it where every unit is at least usable. You will always have some units that just unfortunately are not good. That's just the nature of the beast. So yeah, and normally it would be like, okay, fine, we'll just wait till the codex comes. But again, like I said, the uncertainty is there. I genuinely don't believe we're getting the codex. Other people I know, Byron, believes we are getting a codex. And so I guess at this point it is just down to what do you believe, what do you think? We won't know nothing until next year. Assumedly, like I don't see them revealing anything, and even then we have no idea when, and that's the bit that hurts. It's the uncertainty, it's not knowing, I guess. So yeah, like the problem is, right, for me, I'm a big Zinch guy. I cut my teeth in 40k in general with Zinch Demons, right? And so I've sat there so many times trying to build a solo Zinch list, a mono Zinch list, and I can't build anything that I feel like good with. And I guess the loss of Psychic Phase hurts massively. And it just feels like there's a lot of lacking flavour. And I guess we were not the only index like that, only having one detachment, especially for an army like ours, which I feel like we're so different to everyone else, where everyone has their one army and then the detachments make you different. We are essentially kind of 4 armies molded into one. And so I guess we feel the mono single detachment more than everyone else because we're not able to really take into the themes of each god as much. So yeah, I don't know. We're in quite uncertain times. I still think we're like in that middle of the pack spot. We can do well. There is no doubt we can do well. The reason 3 lists or 3 people went 5-0 at LGT and made the shadow rounds just speaks to the fact that there is something there. It's just incredibly stale, in my opinion. The scope for innovation and creativity is low. Like most things have been done. There's not really much in the way of secret sauce. And so yeah, I mean it's a bit disappointing. I was really hoping the banner slate addressed the battle line because again, the battle line I feel like is the biggest issue outside of the actual internal balance of the index. So I feel like we definitely could have used battle line changes. Also, as someone who prefers more of a horde style, very heavy infantry and my lesser demons, with a lot of them feeling just so lackluster, it's just horrible. I hate it. I mean, I like my monsters. I like my other ways to run demons, but it's not my favorite ways. And for me, I can run monsters until it becomes stale. It became stale for me a long time ago. I've been trying to cut monsters and go with as little monsters as I can, but unfortunately, I think the monsters, you just need them. You just need the monsters to run, and that is probably the way it should be. Like, you should definitely need some greater demons, but you should also need lesser demons. So, I just feel, again, the balance is just not there. And then as far as the FAQ, because we got a little bit of FAQ touch, it was just talking about pink horrors. So, basically, now they've confirmed it. If you have a unit of pink horrors and all the pink horrors die, because as soon as all the pink horrors die in the pink horror unit, if there's blue horrors or brimstones, the unit now becomes a unit of blue horrors. So they use the blue horror profile, or data slate. And after that point, once all the pink horrors are dead, but it's now become a blue horror unit, you can never return pink horrors back to the unit. So if, for example, you take a battle shock test in the shadows and you passed, you return D3 models, you can never return pink horrors back to that unit now, which is sad. The other thing is, and I think this is more pink horror exclusive, I assume it will work the same with the blue horror unit, but you can never return models to take you over your starting strength for the horrors. So for example, say you've got a unit of pink horrors and they've split and you've got like 6 pink horrors and 4 blue horrors and a brimstone or something like that, or just say 6 pink horrors and 4 brimstone horrors, 4 blue horrors, sorry. So now you're on 10 models. If you pass the battle shock for whatever reason in your shadows, you don't get to return D3 pink horrors back to the unit or D3 models back to the unit because you can't go above the starting strength of 10, which you're already at. So just some little clarification changes, nothing major. It brings horrors down a bit, but pink horrors are still decent. They're just a bit pricey, to be honest. I think they definitely wanted a change, but yes. So we've had a bit of a rant, we've had a bit of a moan. No doubt there'll be people who disagree, and that's cool. Share your disagreements down below or in the comments on wherever you're going to see this, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube itself. And let me know how you feel about the data slate changes. As far as the meta goes, I think we're about to hit a bit more of a horde heavy meta because Kroot went down, GSE went down, Junkles for World Eaters are still good, and I think we're going to see that catch on. Um, yeah, and I think there's just going to be a bunch of other armies. Orcs, I think orcs are going to be all over the place again, which is not good. Orcs are a problem. Um, so we need to really have a game plan for, I think, heavy model armies. And I'm going to do a bit of a video talking about some anti-horde options, because we've got a few that tech pieces I guess we can insert into our list to kind of combat that. Um, but we'll get to that in another video. Thankfully, Sisters and Thousand Sons, which were some of our natural predators, well, I've got hit. Thousand Sons got gifted. And Sisters got bonked, not as much as I thought they would, and I don't think as much as anyone thought they would, but they got bonked a bit. GW did confirm they're doing another data slate that is more focused on rule changes later in the year. Well, we're already in October. This is already late in the year, so next month or the month after. I'm hoping December, because I don't want to get some changes in the next couple of weeks before Worlds, and then it changes the whole meta again, and then GW implement it, because at this time it's like I need to now start thinking about my list for the World Championships, and at the moment I've got nothing. I'll pull something out there. We've got commentary next week or this week whenever I release this. I don't know when I'm releasing this. It'll probably I assume I'm going to probably release this instantly, actually, so next weekend. And then I don't know, we'll see, I guess. But yeah, and they confirmed that they're going to change or make changes to Miracle Dice, how it works, which is good. I hate those mechanics. Like, I don't mind them here and there. For example, like the Fluxmaster having a once per battle round change one hit roll, wound roll, or a dice roll to a 6. That's fine, because it's controlled. You can change one roll to a 6, and it's specific controlled dice. Whereas the Miracle Dice, being able to just continue regenerating and just using it, just feels bad when they can just auto 6 damage or auto 6 saves or auto 6 charges. It's just stupid. Same with Fate Dice, though they're less of a problem, I guess, now. They also said they're going to change Assault Ambush for GSC. What they're going to do with that, I don't know. Are they making it more powerful? Not a clue. And I assume there'll be more changes. I have a feeling, maybe I'm just so scared of it happening, but I have a feeling they might change the Endless Gift, but I don't know how or what they do to it. I don't know. We don't know. We can keep guessing that the Endless Gift, because the last couple of data slates I've been like, okay, Endless Gift is getting touched, and it isn't, which is amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that. Like I said, I don't want no nerfs, not a single one. Not that I think we're in a spot to be nerfed. The Rendmaster going up, was it needed? Maybe a little bit, just because of how prevalent that corn list is. But I don't know. I don't think we're good enough to be nerfed at all, really, because we're not smashing super majors or majors or even GTs. Like, our tournament win rate is not the highest. Though you can see demon players going quite deep into events, and they kind of just lose that last like top layer, which is fine. I think that's a good spot to be in. It's just like I said, becoming a bit stale with list building and that kind of stuff. So let me know your thoughts on Data Slate, how you think it went, what changes you wanted to see that we didn't get, how you feel about the couple changes we got. And maybe your biggest worry is going into the next meta, and your lists that you're going to be looking at, what you're feeling, and all that kind of stuff. I don't really think much has changed for us, to be honest. It will just be reacting to other armies' new lists, I guess. Is then we'll have to maybe start taking towards certain other factions. That's how our list will change. But as far as the list changing itself because of what we're running, not really needing to change that much. So, thank you for tuning in. Like always, leave a like and subscribe. It takes a few seconds and massively appreciated. Helps the channel grow. Get us to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 650, 660. I think 660. So we're not that far off, because once we get to there, we'll have a lot of stuff incoming. But we have to wait until we hit that 1,000 mark to do it. And then, as always, check out Facebook, Instagram to keep up to date with all things True Demon Lord, and the Chaos Demon Facebook page, where you see me posting all the time. Yes, and we will catch you all in the next one.